What is going on, everyone? Welcome to my DFS strategy video for the 2022 AT&T Byron Nelson. My name is Eric, and here at SweetSpotDFS, it's all about targeting the optimal lineup every single week and trying to hit it. In the previous videos, we go over all the stats required to target the optimal lineup. Here in this strategy video, it's all about finding the correct players to match those stats. So first of all, if you haven't seen that preview video, I'll provide a link top right-hand corner. Go check it out. Secondly, we're going to get the help of looking at the SweetSpot ranks, Marquee tea time pairings, as well as anchor buckets to find those players that will help us hit the optimal lineup. Of course, at the end of the video, I'll build some lineups and I'll also go over my favorite duos that I'm going to be anchoring my lineups around. Now, in the preview video, I did mention I was going to include the prize picks videos that I typically do on Wednesdays in this one, or I was going to combine them. Not this week. I still will create a Wednesday video for prize picks. I'm going to keep the strategy video just as its own, but in the future, I am going to combine these videos to save myself some time. And just, I think it all works out anyways. So before we get into this video, I'll remind you guys of all the giveaways that I like to run. First one being a subscriber giveaway. Long story short, if you want a chance to win $25, be subscribed and comment down below. If you want more details on this giveaway, go check out the preview video because I explained it there in depth. A second giveaway is prize picks. Again, I explained this in the preview video. If you want to play prize picks for free, essentially, sign up using the promo code SweetSpot, put initial deposit of $20 in, and then you will get refunded by me $20. So you get to play it for free, and prize picks is going to match your deposit up to $100. So your 20 turns into 40. And it's just going to cost you sign up information. There is a link in the description that'll get you to that sign up page with the SweetSpot code already populated in the promo code section, so you don't even have to do that work. Highly suggest you guys go sign up. It's a fun way to play fantasy sports, and it helps out the channel. So highly encourage you guys to go do that. Now, I'm also going to provide a cheat sheet. That is also in the description below. It's a link that'll get you to another spreadsheet. Just make a copy of it for yourself, and you can follow along with me while I go through this video. And basically what you're going to get is everything you see on the screen. This is my 2022 DK page, as I like to name it, the dream sheet. This is all provided to you guys. So again, everything I'm going to be covering here, you have the opportunity to follow along with me. Now, I'm also going to be providing an optimizer. And if you want to use this optimizer, you're going to have to follow along with the subscriber giveaway rules there. Be subscribed, leave a comment down below. And then one extra step, you're going to have to email me at sweetspotdfs@gmail.com, because unfortunately, even if you comment down below, I can't click on your name to see your email address. So I can't email you. You will have to email me, just letting me know that you're interested in using the optimizer, and I will send it your way. So all 4 of those giveaways are available to each and every one of you guys. Unless you've already signed up for prize picks, then you're kind of SOL. You already had your shot, and you probably won $20 already, because I'm pretty sure I've given out $20 to each of my followers through prize picks. Okay, let's go ahead and get into this thing. The very first thing I want to talk about are the SweetSpot ranks. And if I were to sort this, first of all, actually, before we sort this, keep an eye right here. I always like to show you on the first page, the last salary you see is $8,000. If we see any golfers lower than $8,000 creep up, when I sort by the rankings here, that means they're a value. Now, I think you guys already know how these rankings work. It all goes by the same scoring model that I use week in and week out. Official World Golf Ranking, the 3 types of grass stats. We have, since 2013, the average finish position, their top 10 success rates, as well as 1 full year, this whole last year, I should say, a year going back from this date. Whatever bent grass, because that's what the grass stats are here reflecting, all bent grass stats from last year. And I'm trying to get all these numbers as close to 100. Whoever has the best score, I want that to be close to 100 as possible. So if anything lacks there, then you will see a lower number. I do keep all the recent form stats pretty low. So you can see all the recent form stats here, DraftKings points, recent form average, which is their average finishing position, their average score round to round. I'm keeping this all at 50 max. You can see Scotty Scheffler is the top golfer in the field. No surprise, He's won, what, 4 times in the last 2 months, 2.5 months. He's going to have the most DraftKings points in this field. So basically, the highest score you can get here is 50. We're looking at some bogey avoidance, birdie or better, as well as some season-long stats here. DraftKings points, round-to-round scoring average, rounds under 70%, cut made percentage, and DK top 10%. Again, trying to get everyone as close to 100 points as possible, whoever's best in the field. So anyways, that creates the score, and that creates the rank. Now, when we look at this, we're trying to find golfers under $8,000 that creep into this. So we have Mark Leishman, number 1, Kuchar, Sebastian Munoz, Alex Noren, and Mito Pereira. To me, I will say this. Despite this being a value, you still have to use your brain and try to figure out, are these golfers worth playing? I certainly wouldn't play, I wouldn't play all 5 of them together. I wouldn't play 4 of them together. I probably wouldn't even play 3 of them together. Maybe I'd play 2. And the whole goal, by the way, is I want 4 golfers from this top 20. Number 20 is Seamus Power. I want 4 of these golfers, or I should say, of the golfers you see on the screen, I want 4 in the optimal lineup. That is the goal. Now, on average, we see 2 to 3. So do with that as you will. That's why I said with those 7K golfers, I wouldn't select a bunch of them. If you like one of them, go for it. But a value is just a value on paper. We have no idea how they're going to golf on the golf course. Now, other things I like to look at, Jordan Spieth, Dustin Johnson, 10K golfers being outranked by 9K golfers. And I think we could probably make an argument to say that this is how the salary rank should be, going top to bottom. Now, don't get me wrong, Jordan Spieth just won not too long ago. DJ is just going to always have that elite caliber next to his name. But what has DJ done lately? Not much. So him having that 10K price tag, I mean, I get it, but I think it's a bit overvalued. So anyways, Sam Burns I could see as my number 3 golfer. Easy, especially in the salaries. Xander with number 4, absolutely. Hideki and Will Zalatoris. I think those are, if it was to be ranked this way in salaries, I don't think any of us would be disappointed with that. But anyways, it's just to show you the rankings. It'll give you a kind of a better sense of, maybe who you should pick. But like I said, I've never seen more than 4. So of the 20 golfers you see on the screen, I wouldn't play 4 of them together, or I wouldn't play more than 4 of them together. I probably wouldn't even play 3 of them together, if I'm being honest. My rankings probably need a little bit of an adjustment, which in time I'll get to. But yeah, I think 2 or 3 golfers to pick from this group, I think is going to be okay. Now, from these rankings, what I like to do is create marquee tee time pairings. So what I do is I take the field number, the total amount of golfers in the field, which is 156. I multiply that by 2 numbers. I used to just multiply it by 1. Let me repeat that. I used to just multiply it by 1 number, and that was like 59. Because golf is a fun number, 59%. Golf is a fun, 59 is a good number in golf. And it's just an arbitrary number. There's no science behind it. I just used it because it's nearly 2/3 of the field. Well, I've kind of expanded it to 2/3 of the field as well. So any golfer that falls in between that 59% to 66% of 156, which I'll just do the quick math for you, it's between 92 and 102. If their cumulative ranks are under that ranking, they're in the marquee tee time pairing. I know. Confusing. I just said a bunch of words. I understand. What you need to know is any golfer that has this dark green color next to their rank, or that's filled in behind the rank, they're in a marquee tee time, especially if they have this black text. Now, if I go ahead and sort this by color, you're going to see some of these guys have a light green text. Now, these are golfers whose score is not within that threshold, but they are the next ranked golfers according to all the team ranks or all the group rankings. So like Jason Kokrak and Will Zalatoris' group. So Jason Kokrak would actually be my number 8 group, and Will Zalatoris would be my number 9 group. And by the way, there are 9 groups that I have selected as either my marquee tee time pairings or honorable mention groups. So All the groups that we see here with the black text, again, those are your marquee tee times or your marquee tee time pairings. All these with the light green text are honorable mentions. Now, why does this matter to you guys? Well, first of all, I've been tracking this going all the way back to last year's PGA Championship. More often than not, we see 2 golfers within these groups being in the optimal lineup. Now, I kind of have like a makeshift rule where you take the number of marquee tee times, which there are 7 this week, and you divide that by 2. That gets you 3.5. Now, that's how many golfers you want in your optimal lineup. You obviously can't have 3.5, so I'm cool with 3 or 4. You select 3 or 4 golfers that you see on the screen to be in your lineup. Now, last week, and I forgot to mention this in the preview video, I forgot to even go over it, we did see 3 golfers from all of the groups to be in the optimal lineup. However, only 1 was in the true marquee tee time pairing. The other, and that was Max Homa. The other 2, which was Keegan Bradley and somebody else, I can't remember, were actually in the same group, and they're in an honorable mention group. Now, my big rule is you don't pair golfers up together in the same group. Now, it happened last week. I'll tell you what, that now makes 4 times over the last 50 some weeks that has happened. The odds are still on your favor or in your favor by not pairing up golfers in the same group. So if you liked a Brooks Koepka and a Taylor Gooch, I'd highly advise don't play them together. Select one and then go elsewhere. Find golfers elsewhere. So that's how I look at these marquee tee times. So what I'm trying to do is just find my favorite player in this whole bunch. Whether it's a value play, whether it's a high price play or low price play, it's entirely up to you guys. Personally, I like to also kind of look at some groups that have multiple 10K golfers like Scottie Scheffler, Jordan Spieth, and feel like, you know, this is probably going to be a really good group. They're going to be pushing each other, trying to play better. I might as well just pick one of these guys. Now, maybe that's not your cup of tea, and that's fine. Maybe you want to go with somebody who has a little bit more upside, like say maybe a Joaquin Niemann at $9,300. Or you like Kevin Kisner a lot, but he's in a Dustin Johnson Xander lineup. Hey man, it might just prove to be even better for Kevin Kisner, or maybe it won't be. I mean, playing in a group of players, or playing within a group, there are a lot of things that go into it. There's a lot of mental hurdles that you have to go over. You know, if you have someone who's playing really hot, it might wear on you either negatively. It might even wear on you positively. You might be trying to push the needle to keep up. And obviously that can go, you know, pretty drastically either way. So I like to, like I said, I like to try to find my favorite player first, or my favorite players. And like, I really like Scottie Scheffler this week. I don't mind selecting Scottie Scheffler, but Jordan Spieth looks really enticing. And I don't think you can go wrong going with Scottie Scheffler or Jordan Spieth, starting there. And then going from there, trying to find a golfer to match them up with. Now, like, I don't mind going to a Sam Burns at $9,500. I also don't mind going to a Xander at $97,000. Probably going to stay away from Brooks, but I do like Taylor Gooch this week. So those are all very interesting ideas to kind of pair lineups with. Oh, I also really like Joaquin Niemann as well. If I'm not doing Justin Thomas, geez. Let's see here. It's JT. Okay, I was looking at the wrong group. But yeah, if I like JT, I'm not pairing him up with Burns, but I wouldn't mind going with like a Joaquin Niemann. And if you're feeling kind of risky, going with a Matthew Wolff doesn't seem terrible, although that's an honorable mention. Maybe a KH Lee, who won this tournament last year. I don't know. Totally up to you guys. I will show you my favorite duos at the end of this video. But yeah, that's how I would go about it. And again, it kind of limits you on the amount of lineups you can create, the amount of golfers you can put together. And I think that's really great. Like I said, usually you see half of the number of marquee tee times as golfers in the optimal lineup. The most I've ever seen is 4. And with those 4, they weren't in the same group together. So like, it was like a Matt Kuchar. I mean, if I was just to give you like a hypothetical what it was like a Matt Kuchar, a Taylor Gooch, and then you come down here, it was like a Joaquin Niemann with a Scotty Scheffler. That is what it looked like. So, imagine building your lineups that way. You can pick 4 of these guys, but then look at how many golfers you get to scratch out of your, out of 27 golfers, you're only selecting 4. So you're basically getting rid of 23 golfers who are pretty darn good golfers. Just helps you build your lineups a little bit better. And by the way, I included this in the optimizer. So all the golfers you see there all have group numbers next to them, and we're not selecting more than one of them from their group. I have those in the conditionals right here. So we're not doing more than one. Again, we'll get to this a little bit later. But those are the marquee tee times. So if we need a little bit of help trying to figure out, maybe we can figure out the golfers from what we saw on the screen there. Maybe we need a little bit of help to look at the anchor buckets. So again, you can follow along with me because this is part of the cheat sheet. I did include this. What I like to do, very first thing, is go to this bucket here, this year. That's how many golfers are in each of those buckets. And I'm just going to go less than. Let's go less than or equal to 30. Usually I do 25, but I'm going to go with 30 this week. So that already limits the amount of groups we can even look at, or the amount of buckets we can even look at. Now, the next one is I want the minimum projection to be at least 1 or more. So there we go. We'll go here and go greater than or equal to 1. Actually, let's go 0.9. So that even limits it even more. But that's not, you know what? I was going to say that's not where I'm going to end, but I think I'm going to. Typically what I do here is put another conditional on of the max projection. And what I would do would be greater than or equal to 2. And you can see that this is actually going to remove a bunch of them. And now we only have 2 buckets to look at, which isn't very good at trying to figure out who we want to pick. So let's go ahead and remove this one. And we'll keep it like this. And we'll talk about some of these. We're not going to be talking about course history because it's really difficult. We only have 1 year worth of course history. And that's actually reflective of event history or tournament history, not course history. So you can see it's all the top buckets, the 1-2 buckets for last year, recent form. Salaries, we kind of already knew that. It's looking like you want a 10K golfer and a 9K golfer in your lineups. I'm probably just going to start there to begin with. And then strokes gain, it's all about finding your best strokes gain golfers as well. So let's go ahead and let's dive into each of those buckets on the dream sheet. Again, you guys can follow along with that. Now, the very first one we're going to look at, last year ones. So these are golfers who top 20 at this tournament last year. And this one is actually a good bucket because they did play the AT&T, or I should say the TPC Craig Ranch golf course that they're playing this week. And I guess if we sort this from how well they did and not by their salary, you see you have KH Lee, who won this tournament last year. I don't think he goes back to back. So I think you can just cross him out. He is a part of the marquee tee time pairings. I mean, by the way, all he needs to do is get a top 10. That's all he needs to do. We don't have to think about him winning a tournament again. But I am not anticipating him doing as well as a top 10. So I'm probably just going to cast him out, and that's good enough for me. Now, Sam Burns finished second at this tournament last year. I'm liking Burns this week. But if you wanted to find some cheap guys, here you go. You have 7Ks to 6K golfers, and they're all good choices. I have no issues with Patton Kizzire, Scott Stallings, Charles Schwartzel, or Joseph Bramlett. But I'm really liking Jordan Spieth. I'm really liking Will Zalatoris. If you ever needed another reason to play Will Zalatoris, here you go. And remember, we're only selecting somewhere between 1 to 2 of these guys. And in all reality, because this number isn't greater than 2, I automatically, this is a rule of mine that I do in all my videos. If this isn't greater than 2, the minimum automatically becomes 0. Because there's not enough confidence in this bucket to say, yep, we're going to see at least 1. But I think we have a really good shot of seeing at least 1. We also have Matt Kuchar down here in 17th place. Okay. So really, it's up to you guys. I don't mind any of those. The next bucket would be our last week or our last year 2 golfers. And this is that 20 to 40 range, which is really surprising because typically you don't really see this bucket to be as successful or, something that you really want to target. We're also looking at 0 to 2 in this bucket as well. So yeah, it isn't giving us a lot of confidence to select golfers from here. But I mean, notable names here: Hideki Matsuyama, Taylor Gooch is down here, Carlos Ortiz, Mark Leishman, Alex Noren. So here's the thing I would say this. You never want to play more than 2 of these guys together, but also probably just want to play one of them. So if you do like a Taylor Gooch, cross out the rest of these guys, you know? And by the way, there is a chance that my projections could be beat, but I'm like at a 94-95% success rate over the last, like 6 months. So probably not going to happen. Not saying you can't have success picking more than 2 of these guys, 1 or 2 of these guys, but you're not going to hit the optimal lineup. And that's what I'm chasing. That's what I'm trying to target and what I'm trying to hit. So I think that makes life a little easier with some of these 6K golfers, especially if you like a Taylor Gooch. Maybe you just write in Taylor Gooch and don't even think twice about it. It's not a bad choice, honestly, at this tournament. So those are the only 2 anchor buckets within the last year buckets. The next one we want to get to is, I mean, we just go down the line, right? Recent form 1. We only have 6 golfers in this bucket. Recent form 1s, 6. Wow. Will Zalatoris is here, so maybe I should go, wow. Yeah, I guess it's a bunch of high price guys. So Scotty Scheffler, Justin Thomas, those 2 guys alone, I like quite a bit. But here's the thing. I'm not projecting more than 2 of these guys being inside the top 10. So with that being said, it kind of helps you figure out who you really want to play. Are you going JT and Will Zalatoris? Are you going Scotty, Will Zalatoris? Are you going Scotty, Taylor Gooch? Or are you going JT, Taylor Gooch? Or if you're one of those that doesn't like playing a 10K golfer, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to, I think we have probably 40 consecutive weeks where we had a 10K in the 10 or a 10K in the top 10. You could play Taylor Gooch and Will Zalatoris. Or maybe you just drop down to Johnny Vegas and you skip these guys. So if you don't want to deal with chalk, like, because Will Zalatoris is going to be extremely chalky, Johnny Vegas or even Matt Kuchar seems like a good play. Really interesting seeing Matt Kuchar at 7,700 in this whole group. But anyways, probably not going there. Not Matt Kuchar. Not this week. The other bucket we want to look at are the recent form 2s. There's considerably more golfers in this one than the last one we just looked at. There's 24 to be exact. And it's topped by Xander Schauffele, Sam Burns, Tommy Fleetwood, Aaron Wise, Cameron Champ, Adam Hadwin, Mark Leishman. There's Mito, Sebastian. Probably even talk about Siwoo Kim. I really like Aaron Rai this week. I don't mind David Lipsky. This is a tough group, but I do believe we have a bunch of... Oh, no. Somewhere between 1 to 3. We're only projecting 1 to 3 inside the top 10. So with that being said, you've got some choices to make here. I really like Aaron Wise this week. I know I'm not the only one. And I think a pretty clean pivot would be going to Cameron Champ. Because I do believe a lot of people will also be playing Adam Hadwin here because a lot of people around the industry like Adam Hadwin. But these 3 golfers here, I have no issue whatsoever. And hey, Mark Leishman is my number 10 golfer in the field. He's probably the number 3 golfer in this bucket, and he's $7,800. So super value play there. And again, I really do like Aaron Rai. So it's kind of disappointing that Aaron Rai is in this really good bucket. Maybe you just go with like a Burns Rai, or I mean, I'm not doing 3. Oh, never mind. I can do 3. I'm not doing more than 3. So yeah, I guess what I could do is just go like Aaron Rai into an Aaron Wise into a Sam Burns. And then probably grab Spieth or Scheffler. Probably Scheffler. Start with a 10K and go 10, 9, 8. And then Rai is my 7K golfer. Really liking that possibility there with the lineups. So like that. And those are the only recent form buckets worth talking about. So then we go right into the strokes gain buckets, because salary is just 10K, 9K, and we can talk about that pretty easy. Not a big deal. So this is all color coded. So all your strokes gained 1 golfers will have a green number box here. Scotty Scheffler, Justin Thomas, Dustin Johnson, Sam Burns, Neiman, Power, Noren, Pereira. Again, we're projecting somewhere between 1 to 2. Probably no more than 2 though. So you've got choices to make. Once again, there are 8 golfers here. Quite frankly, I think it's really turning out to be you want to anchor around Scotty or JT and then try to figure out what 9K golfer to pick from. I will be staying away from the 7K golfers here. And maybe that's a mistake. I do like to create like 10 lineups that I know I'm not playing any golfer of. I'm sure these 3 golfers will be in that. And they'll probably be mixed in with like a DJ or, gosh, who's the other 10K golfer not here? Oh, Jordan Spieth, something like that. But anyways, you want to pick somewhere between 1 to 2. And really it's 0 to 2. Remember, this number isn't over 2. So it's really realistically 0 to 2. We could see 0 inside the top 10. Probably not going to happen, but we could. Now, the other bucket to look at are your strokes gained 2. There's a few more golfers in this one. Probably just staying away from all of the low 6K golfers and really just kind of thinking about these guys here. This one also is projected between 1 to 2. Very similar to the strokes gained 1 golfers. So pick 1 to 2 of these guys. And it's kind of like, I mean, I really like Maverick McNeely just because of that. If I needed to pick one, I think it's him. I'm not huge on Day. I don't think he does 2 weeks in a row. He faltered quite a bit at the Wells Fargo Championship. He came out to a really hot start, but then he just faltered. But I kind of am liking Tommy Fleetwood this week. And I know a lot of you guys out there like Xander Schauffele. I got a lot of, or I think I got at least one comment in the preview video saying they like Schauffele. I'm not against Schauffele. I just don't think it's that he's that strong at this event. Could be wrong though, but I suppose he's the best bent grass golfer in this bucket. Overall, that is. Tied with the second highest success rate in, okay. Maybe I'm talking myself into Xander. I don't want to play Xander, but maybe. And those are all the anchor buckets. Obviously, we talked about the salaries, you know, a 10K and a 9K. So why don't we go ahead and get into some of my favorite duos. Now, it's worth noting, I ran 50 lineups already using this optimizer. I wanted to see what the optimizer liked as the best combination. So if I unhide this, again, this is available to you guys. You'll have the same access to this. It's Will Zalatoris and Justin Thomas. And I believe most of those lineups paired up with Aaron Wise. I know you really can't see this, but a lot of them did. So JT, Zalatoris, Aaron Wise in just about all of these lineups. So, like I said, I really like Wise. And I didn't manipulate any of my scoring models. I just, whatever their stats were, that is what the SweetSpot ranks grabbed from. Usually what I do every single week when I have this to myself and I'm not presenting it to you guys, I go in here and I tweak these numbers. Because, and I should mention this already, I went in and I tweaked Matt Kuchar's number. This number should actually be 1011. And it being at that number, he was picked 16%, or he was picked in 16% of the lineups. So just so you guys can see, I didn't cap any exposure percentages to anyone 8K and above, but I did anyone in the 7K and 6K range. Otherwise, to me it was the best way to figure out the best duos at the top. But yeah, so JT and Zalatoris were basically your number one paired up golfer. We can see Zalatoris here with a bunch of people. Now, I wouldn't put Kokrak and Zalatoris. I wouldn't start there. But JT and Aaron Wise were in 27 lineups. So you could start there. Obviously, JT, Zalatoris, and Wise were all part of most of the groups together. Outside of that, though, I think if I go to combinations, I can show you a little bit better of some of these other groupings. No, this is kind of an eyesore. Jordan Spieth was with Sam Burns quite a bit, so that might be a decent combo to put together. Jordo and Sam Burns seems interesting. We have here. I'm not really seeing anything of significance, really, when it comes to any of the other ones, because basically what you would do is anything within like this group here, like in this box here, if these numbers were high, or even if I went down to the 9K range, yeah, Fleetwood is in the 9K range. So basically what I'm trying to do is find the best combos, and really it's the Sam Burns, Jordan Spieth. That would be these numbers here. I don't see anything higher than that when it comes to combinations. Obviously, we went through a lot of the buckets, so you can come up with your own combinations yourself. To me, it's like, I wouldn't mind going to, like when we talked about the last year ones and we wanted to pick 1 to 2 of these guys. I mean, there's Burns. And what you don't see on here is Scheffler. You don't see JT. You don't see, who's the other guy? Dustin Johnson. You don't see any of those guys with Sam Burns. So pairing up Sam Burns with those 3 golfers, I don't think would be a terrible choice. And of course, again, you do have Will Zalatoris here. And that's what my optimizer likes selecting more than Sam Burns. So it could easily be Sam Burns with like Justin Thomas or even Scottie Scheffler. And I think it didn't pick Scottie Scheffler because JT's my number 1 golfer and he's cheaper than JT. So that probably has a lot to do with it. But I mean, I can't. My favorite duos here would be like Scottie Scheffler with Sam Burns, or Scottie with Will Zalatoris, or Scottie with Joaquin Niemann. You know, obviously, if we're looking at, you know, Marquee tee times, you can have all the group numbers here, and you can see none of these 3 golfers match up with Scottie Scheffler. So I don't mind playing those guys together. Now, I suppose JT cannot be paired up with Sam Burns. I mean, they can. Obviously, they can. But my whole process would just really have you guys consider not doing that. Don't put those guys together. So I'm not going to. DJ Xander, as contrarian as that is, they're in the same group together, so I would never play them together. But if you wanted to do a Xander JT lineup, that seems pretty plausible. How about this? Let's delete everything that we see. What I'm going to do is put the ownerships that were currently there already into the max ownerships. So it gives us a little bit of an exposure here. Delete. Yeah, we can do that again. That's fine. And I'm going to clear all this out. And why don't we put like a Scottie Scheffler, Sam Burns lineup together? Remember, Burns is playing with JT, so I think this is a great. Yeah, so that's a pretty solid lineup. Sam Burns, or Scottie, Sam Burns, Aaron Wise, Kevin Kisner, CT Pan, and Charles Schwartzel. Now, this will create unique lineups for me, so I can get. It's not going to choose Schwartzel here, and it actually switched out a couple guys. So now we have Ian Poulter, Brandon Grace. Don't really care for that. I think that doesn't have a lot of upside, having those 3 golfers. Yeah, David Skins. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and take this and put it to a 0. I don't want to see any low 6K golfers right now. I didn't really see any that I liked this week. I think like Henrik Norlander might be one that I don't mind. Here's a decent one. Kevin Kisner, Lee Westwood, Danny Willett. How about one more? Okay. I don't like any of those, but again, if you want this optimizer, you can tweak these metrics, and the optimizer is going to use the metrics to try to make a lineup, try to create the most optimal lineup based off of your metrics and the bucket system. Yeah, I don't really, I guess I don't have to go over much more than that. I really like JT this week. I really like Scotty Scheffler. I do like Jordan Spieth, by the way. So, and how about a JT Joaquin Neiman lineup? I'm not sure if many people are talking about that. I really haven't listened to anything this week. Wise, McNeely, Munoz, and Septi. Okay, so that's a sexy lineup. A lot of upside with this lineup. So maybe it's JT Neiman. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Now, so I took 10 groups out, like I said, and I included this max bucket down here. So if you use this, you can use it to your advantage. Basically, what this is looking at is we can tell the optimizer to select at least, like in the minimum here, select at least 2 golfers that are in the marquee tee times, but never more than 4. So we can limit how much to choose and how much not to choose from here. And also we have the AM PM stacks too that you can also filter by. So super cool. Really like this optimizer. If you want a chance to use it, again, be subscribed, comment down below, and email me at SweetSpotDFS@gmail.com. Just let me know that you're interested in it, and I will send it your way. But yeah, Wednesday night, I am tinkering with this, and I'm trying to come up with my favorite lineups. I don't care about ownership, so I'm not going to be like persuaded based off of ownership to pivot from like a high-owned Scotty Scheffler to a low-owned Dustin Johnson. I just like Scotty Scheffler this week. I like JT. I like Jordan Spieth. I don't really care for Dustin Johnson. I don't really care for Hideki Matsuyama. And I don't really care for Xander Schauffele. I'm probably going to use a lot of these 9K golfers right here to pair up with these 10K golfers. And that's probably where my duos are going to lie within. So yeah, that is it. I have nothing else to add. Let me just double check. Yeah, we got everything. Again, guys, you have an opportunity to win $25 this week by subscribing, commenting down below, sharing this with friends. If you get your friends to help subscribe to this, we can reach that goal faster. Or family. I mean, I don't really like to beg for subscribers, but if you want a chance to win more money, I'm going to reward you for doing your part and participating. So again, comment down below. Topic is your 2 favorite golfers you're anchoring your lineups with this week. And simple as that. And again, if you want to play prize picks, I'm going to give you $20 just by using the SweetSpot promo code. And then all it requires from you, again, signing up. And then, well, first of all, signing up, using the promo code SweetSpot, and putting a $20 initial deposit into your account. And voila, I will give you $20 after that. So that's available to you guys. Cheat sheet again in the description below. Optimizer, email me, all that good stuff. We're done. We're done with this one. So thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.